Right now, somewhere in America, a 28-year-old is looking at their retirement account balance and seeing $6,000. And somewhere else, a 52-year-old is staring at their account balance and realizing they have less saved than they thought they would have by 35. Not because they were reckless, not because they never worked hard, not because they didn't care, but because retirement in America has quietly transformed from a life stage into a math problem most people were never taught how to solve. And the worst part? A lot of Americans still think retirement is an age. It isn't. Retirement is a number. And for millions of people, that number feels like it keeps moving further away every year. Today, we're breaking down why retirement feels impossible in America, what most people actually have saved by age, and the psychological traps that keep people financially stuck for decades. Because the numbers are not what most people think.
Let's start with one of the biggest financial misconceptions in America. People hear things like, you need $1 million to retire. Save 10x your salary. Retire by 65. Nice slogans. Terrible emotional guidance. Because none of these numbers mean anything without context. And yet millions of Americans walk around with this vague background anxiety that sounds like this: I should probably be saving more. That sentence quietly follows people for decades. But here's what makes retirement anxiety uniquely brutal. Unlike rent, groceries, or debt, retirement is a future problem. And human brains are terrible at prioritizing future problems. Behavioral economists call this present bias. Your brain automatically values today more than tomorrow. A vacation today feels real. A contribution to retirement feels abstract. A dinner out tonight gives immediate reward. A 401k contribution gives you a vague promise about a person you haven't emotionally met yet. Future you. So every month, retirement competes against life happening right now. And life usually wins. Not because you're irresponsible, because your brain is built to prioritize immediate survival and immediate reward. That worked beautifully for thousands of years. Not so great in a society asking you to financially plan 40 years into the future. Now let's talk numbers, because this is where things get uncomfortable. The average American retirement savings number gets thrown around a lot. You'll hear numbers like $333,000 average retirement savings. Sounds decent. Sounds survivable. Sounds like people are doing okay. But average is lying to you. Averages in America are like looking at Jeff Bezos standing in a room and deciding everyone's doing amazing. What matters is median, the middle person. And the median numbers are much more sobering. Under 35, median retirement savings is roughly $18,000. Age 35 to 44, about $45,000. Age 45 to 54, around $115,000. Age 55 to 64, roughly $185,000. Pause there. That means half of Americans approaching retirement age have less than $185,000 saved. Not $1 million, not even close. $185,000. And suddenly that sentence starts making sense. Retirement feels impossible. Because for many people, it kind of does. And psychologically, this creates what I call the retirement avoidance loop. The numbers feel bad, so people avoid looking. Avoidance delays action. Delayed action worsens numbers. Worse numbers increase anxiety. More anxiety creates more avoidance. And just like that, 5 years disappear. Here's something nobody explains well. Retirement isn't hard because saving is impossible. Retirement is hard because your 20s, 30s, and 40s are financially violent. Your 20s, student loans, entry-level income, unstable housing. Your 30s, marriage, rent increases, kids, childcare, mortgage pressure. Your 40s, aging parents, career pressure, healthcare costs, education expenses. In theory, these are your prime earning years. In reality, these are also your prime expense years. So Americans are asked to do something financially absurd: fund their current life and their future life simultaneously. Pay for now, save for later. Build today, finance tomorrow. And when income is tight, retirement always loses to urgency.
A retirement contribution can be delayed. Rent cannot. This is why many Americans don't feel financially irresponsible. They feel financially squeezed. Huge difference. This is where things get dangerous. A lot of people tell themselves, "I'll save seriously when I make more." Sounds logical. Usually false. Because spending scales faster than discipline. Income rises. Lifestyle rises. Expenses expand to fill available oxygen. The nicer apartment, the newer car, private school, bigger house, better vacations. Retirement stays emotionally invisible. So income increases, but urgency doesn't. This is lifestyle inflation's quieter cousin, retirement procrastination. And it feels harmless for years. Until one day, you're 47, or 53, or 61. And suddenly, retirement is no longer theoretical. It has a face, a date, a countdown. That is when retirement anxiety often becomes panic. Not because the math suddenly changed, because time did. Here's the weird twist. Retirement anxiety is not only a low-income problem. High earners experience it too. Why? Because higher income often creates higher fixed obligations. Bigger mortgage, private school tuition, luxury car payments, second property, lifestyle architecture. At high incomes, people often become cash flow rich, but flexibility poor. They earn a lot, but require a lot. And suddenly, retirement feels threatening because it means disrupting an expensive ecosystem. This is why some people earning $250,000 still feel trapped. Not poor, trapped. Golden handcuffs. A lifestyle too expensive to comfortably step away from. So even wealthier Americans often ask a different question. Not, can I retire? But, can I afford to stop being this version of myself? That is a much deeper psychological question. So here's the real truth. Retirement does not feel impossible because Americans are lazy, reckless, or financially illiterate. Retirement feels impossible because modern financial life asks people to solve an incredibly long-term problem while being constantly attacked by short-term expenses. Your brain wants safety now. The system demands sacrifice for later. And that tension never fully goes away. But here's the encouraging part. Retirement isn't built in one giant heroic decision. It's built in smaller, invisible ones, repeated for years. Automating contributions, capturing employer match, avoiding lifestyle inflation, increasing savings when income rises. Not because these actions feel exciting, but because boring financial behavior compounds into freedom. And that is what retirement actually is. Not stopping work, not moving to Florida, not sitting on a beach. Retirement is optionality.
The ability to decide what happens to your time. That's what people are really saving for. Not an age, a choice. And in America today, choice is becoming one of the most expensive things money can buy. If this changed how you think about retirement, subscribe for more money psychology videos every week. I'll see you in the next one.